Are there advantages to aging? Yes, I am Debbi-Jo Horton, and welcome to Advantages to Aging. Join my guests and I as we discuss aging and what makes for a healthy lifestyle, which results in a quality life. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello, my favorite peeps. Welcome to another episode of Advantages to Aging. I am super excited about today's episode because we have with us Sharon Laflamme from Creating Serenity. And I love the fact that, there is life after retirement. Sharon is a retired hairdresser and she is now a yoga instructor and she helps people heal from trauma. Don't worry, we're not going to have a depressing conversation. We're actually going to have a really uplifting and phenomenal one. So, hello, Sharon, and welcome to Advantages to Aging.
Hello, DJ. Thank you so much for the invitation, and hello to everybody out there. We are going to have a fabulous time.
So, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you want to be told who to be, or do you rather be your authentic self? No, I'm not expecting you to answer that, Sharon. The real question I wanted to ask you, for the benefit of not only myself, but all of our listeners, is how do we find our true, authentic self as we age?
I love that question. I think that it is a lifelong journey because we're always changing and growing. And there's wonderful things about growing and changing and evolving and ascending. And so to me, finding your authentic self is really digging deep inside and knowing who you are and what your wants are and your desires are and what really resonates with you. What do you notice? How you feel? I mean, everyone knows when they're asked, what's your favorite color? Or how do you feel about that? It's instinctual. But with what happens around us as we get born and grow and everything, we learn to keep ourselves stuffed in. It's often called trauma, which is why I became a certified somatic experiencing practitioner, because all this feeling and our true authentic self gets stuffed away so that we can feel safe in the world. If mom isn't happy with us or dad isn't happy with us and we're having an outburst or some kind of feeling, we learn to stuff it away and hide it away. And so I feel like getting older is the fabulous unfolding like a flower of who we really are, because we can start to feel who we really are again without concern of having the people that we need in our life leaving us. And so I think life can be harsh because we always have to consider a possibility if my real true self, will somebody not like me? Will they leave me or whatever? And so as we get older, we can really dive into who we really are and practice being who we really are in an authentic way.
I love that picture of the unfolding flower, because there are so many different stages, not only to the blossoming of a flower, but the blossoming of us as we age, right? It's about changing color sometimes, sometimes in our little pod, we might end up being one color. And as we start to blossom, bloom into another color. And then, as we start to wither and age, maybe change to another color and become, that wisdom for others to be able to follow. That is a great way of explaining it. So really appreciate, I being a very visual person, that when you mentioned the unfolding of a flower, I could picture it. Yeah. So that was really cool.
Yeah. And as our life grows, we are like the flower too, right? The bud as we're baby, and then the perfect bloom that we call perfect. But even the other parts towards death are beautiful aspects of the flower as well, if we want to really enjoy that aspect. And I do, I fully embrace it. And I, like you, I feel that as I age, I get to explore the different colors of who I am. And I can play with being my child again, and I could play with being my adolescent again, or my teenager again, or I could play with where I am at right now. But the colors are changing, and we got to try them on. We always have to try them on and see if they feel good, if we feel good in them.
Yeah, excellent.
Have you thought completely about your retirement plan? No, I'm not really talking about the financial end of it. I'm talking about feeling like you're still making a contribution to the world, to your family, or even just your community, or yourself, your own personal development. I'm not talking about a 9-to-5 job. I'm talking about starting your own business with Neora, fitting it into the cracks and crevices of your life, having a ton of fun with other Neora brand partners. Then you definitely want to take a look at this. Find the link in the show notes. This is DJ with Neora.
And I know there's one other area where people sometimes, like when we get into the discussion of aging, and people, think that aging, you have to follow like certain protocols, and you're expected to act your age. So how do we stay true to our authentic self as we age?
Well, I think that's a matter of really owning who we are and knowing that it's okay to be who we are. And that comes with maturity and a growth aspect of really feeling your own worth, your self-confidence, and your inner strength to know that even if I show up as I really authentically am, I'll be okay if those people around me that might leave, or I don't resonate with them, or we don't align with the same things anymore, that I'm still okay to be who I am, that I don't necessarily have to have these other people. And what's brilliant about this is as we embrace who we really are authentically and start to own it and live it out, then the people that align with come into our life. We start to raise our vibration and raise our consciousness. And so it draws the people that we really click with and really connect with and really associate in a way that's so much deeper than what we can have when we're more immature and we're acting and we're playing, like you said, around what's expected of us instead of who we might really be. So what are the things I think about aging is it's so liberating. It's permission to, reduce all those rules and regulations that we've been told we have to be, and to start trying things that see if they feel good and see if they resonate. And so it's I like to think of it as like more learning, more growing, and it's exciting to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very good friend of mine once said, there are people that come into your life for a reason. There are people that come into your life for a season, and there are people who come into your life and stay. And so we're not saying that, you're not really saying that to stay true to your authentic self, you're kind of pushing those people away. It's just that natural progression of people becoming their own authentic self. And sometimes we don't kind of match anymore, but it was great to be with them when we had the time with them. So I oftentimes think of that and think, all right, I know that I need to be true to me, but you need to be true to you. Would you agree?
Oh, I would definitely agree. 100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, the one last thing that I want to just ask you, oftentimes, like I hear people say, well, you need to be true to yourself. And sometimes it almost feels like they're either giving themselves permission or they're giving you permission to do something that's not quite ethical is too strong a word, but it's not it's going to be a disservice to others. And I just want to make sure, that everybody understands that that's not what you're talking about, right? So when you say being your authentic self, it's really about doing it in a very loving way.
And I would absolutely agree. And when you say loving way, I'm going to say loving way towards yourself, because our biggest priority and the person we spend the most time with is the relationship with ourselves. When we're born, we're here, we're going to end here. Our body's going to stay with us. We need to honor and be in service to every aspect of ourselves in the most high way. And so being there for yourself, you may let other people down and they may not really like it, but you're going to honor yourself and be who you are, and in a loving, compassionate, and kind way. And that means even honoring some of the stuff that you may not wish happened or it feels not so great, but honoring the whole path and journey so that eventually you come into a wholeness and an understanding of, boy, I'm part light, I'm part dark, I've had all kinds of color changes in between, but I'm still here. And I can honestly say I love myself. And that journey to loving yourself unconditionally is really part of the authenticity, is because we accept ourselves. And okay if somebody else accepts us, but we accept ourselves in the most loving and generous way.
And, I totally agree with that. And the fact that you have to be loving yourself before you can love someone else, I think just makes that even more impactful. So this is really the start of a conversation. I know it's going to provoke a lot of thoughts. Would love to hear your comments in the show notes, and we will try to answer as many of those questions as possible. So I want to thank you again, Sharon, for being with us this week, and appreciate you so very much.
Oh, thank you so much, DJ. It's such an honor and pleasure. And I look forward to any questions that I can assist people with as well.
And you'll find Sharon's contact information in the show notes as well.
Great.
Stay tuned till next week.
Do you think one of the biggest advantages to aging is all the knowledge we gain along the way? Me too. What did you learn today? Share with me in my Facebook group with the same name as this podcast, Advantages to Aging. Now hit subscribe so you don't miss all the tips to come in future episodes.